It was a good season. Don't let anybody. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Yes. To see that thing come to an end, I didn't like it. Especially the fact that we were right. Double-digit underdogs. But look, y'all, we're gonna talk about it. I know you gotta get over the feeling of losing and the season coming to a close. But when you think about the whole season, it was a good season, y'all. Now the Panthers gave us a good season. Hornets, Charlotte Hornets, you're up next. You're on the clock. You're on the clock. The NFL playoffs. The NFL playoffs are rolling along, and teams, wild card teams, are advancing. Some things to talk about today, y'all. Up next on the Coach Cherry Show.
Imagine that, you ain't gotta ask that. That's my energy. Yeah, that's my energy.
I don't care what anybody says. The Panthers had a good season. Don't let anybody tell you different. I'm excited because they had a good season. I was at the game. I'm in the stadium. I'm sitting there. I'm watching the game. And double-digit underdogs coming into the game. Double-digit underdogs. When the Rams jumped on us 14-0, I said, oh, boy. Because you heard some people in the national media saying the Panthers don't belong. They have no business there. They're going to get smacked. I heard several people say the Panthers are going to get smacked. That was far from a smacking. When the Rams jumped on us 14-0, I said, oh my goodness. Are we going to get smacked? Puka Nacua had both touchdowns. A receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown. When you're a new playoff team, are you ready for the moment? I mean, let's be real. Are you ready for the moment? That was the only concern as a Panthers fan. Are we ready for the moment? And the Rams, Matthew Stafford, he already has a Super Bowl with the Rams. Sean McVay already has a. So, the Rams are ready. And I felt like going on the road didn't bother them at all. The number one offense in the NFL as far as yards per game and points per game. The number one offense in the NFL. You have several Hall of Famers on that team. Matthew Stafford's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Devontae Adams is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The way Puka Nacua is playing, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The Rams team is good. I mean, that's a Super Bowl championship caliber team. Coaching and player personnel. But I felt good about that matchup. Someone asked me before the game started, they said, Coach Chair, how do you feel about it? I said, I think this is a good matchup. Because when I was looking at the NFC West, I did not want us to play Seattle, and I did not want us to play San Francisco. Why not, Coach Cherry? Because those are very physical teams. When I look at the Los Angeles Rams, I don't see or think of a physical team. They can score a lot. They're talented. But the physicality doesn't bother me. I felt like we weren't going to match up well. Well, you saw when we played Seattle and San Fran during the regular season. I felt like we don't match up well with physical teams. But I said, the Rams, we can match up with them. The only concern was that we had beaten them before. And I felt like, okay, the Rams, they may come in a little more motivated since we beat them the first time. And then they jumped on us 14-0. I've seen this from the Panthers all year. They respond to adversity well. The Panthers respond to adversity well. Remember the stretch? And I know it didn't sound good and it's not what you want. It was win, loss for about 8 weeks. Now, on one hand, it's not good because you're not showing any consistency. You're not showing consistency. But on the other hand, the positive out of that is after a loss, you're able to regroup, you're able to rebound, and you're able to bounce back. That's a good thing. No matter how bad the Panthers would lose, the following week they would get it together and win. So they showed again in this game against the Rams, getting down early, 14-0, they were able to bounce back. So they go down 14-0. Then they get the ball, 7-play drive, 65 yards, Chuba Hubbard, 1-yard touchdown run. 14-7. The Rams get the ball back, kick a field goal, 17-7. And then before the half, we drive down the field. Bryce Young runs it in, 15-yard touchdown. Now, at that point, it's 17-14 at the half. I'm feeling good. I'm like, yeah, this is now a ball game. And then we tie it at 17 in the third quarter. We got a ball game. I felt like we were going to win. I felt like, and that's why I wanted to play the Rams, because although they score the ball well, I felt like we could score against them. Look at this. You talking about offensively? The Panthers had over 300 yards of offense. 333 yards. The Los Angeles Rams had 21 first downs. Guess how many first downs the Panthers had? 21. Like, Bryce Young is going toe-to-toe with Matthew Stafford, who's probably going to be the league MVP. Bryce Young's going toe-to-toe. Boom, boom, boom. As a matter of fact, when you look at the numbers, yeah, Bryce Young, the rushing of Bryce Young, 3 rushes for 24 yards. I want Bryce Young to, y'all know I've been saying all season, I want him to run a little bit more. I think, this is just me now, I think Bryce Young should have 6 to 7 runs per game. Maybe 3 design runs and then 3 or 4 others where he just leaves the pocket. I think Bryce Young should have 6 to 7 runs a game. Matthew Stafford threw for 304 yards. Bryce Young threw for 264. Matthew Stafford had 24 completions. Bryce Young had 21. Right there. Now, Matthew Stafford's QBR was 49. Bryce Young's was 74, higher than Stafford. He went toe-to-toe with the guy who's probably going to be the league MVP. I thought they were going to win. And I'm going to tell you what else helped out the Panthers. A second receiver emerged. It wasn't all Tetairoa McMillan. Jalen Coker had himself a day. 9 catches, 134 yards, and a touchdown. Now, can Jalen, I heard people saying after the game, we got our wide receiver number 2, Jalen Coker. Can he do that consistently? Not 9 catches for 134 yards and a touchdown. No receiver does that every game. Can Jalen Coker consistently be productive? Can Jalen Coker be productive consistently? If you're asking me, I don't know. Do I think Jalen Coker is good? Yes, I do. Do I think Jalen Coker can be productive at a high level consistently? I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know. I hope so. Am I all the way sold on Jalen Coker being the number 2? I don't know. Do I think he can be a number 3? Absolutely. No doubt about it. I don't know if I'm all the way sold on Coker being the number 2. I don't know. I don't know. Tetairoa is definitely a number 1. We see that. We'll see. I think next year says a lot for the Panthers. We can get into that later. Next year's going to say a lot about everybody. Coaches, players, everybody next year. We'll get into that later. But when the Rams I've said this before about Bryce Young. When the Rams, where is it? When the Rams scored that go-ahead touchdown, Kyron Williams, 13-yard touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford, 8:47. When Bryce Young gets on the field, 5 minutes, a little bit over 4 minutes left in the game, and we're down 27-24 because he has the most game-winning drives in the NFL since he's been in the league. I've said it's gotten to a point where if we're down and we need a game-winning drive, you should not be doubting whether or not Bryce Young can do it. You just shouldn't. Now, does that mean he's going to do it every single time? Of course not. No quarterback does that. But he has done it so many times when he trotted onto the field with 4 minutes and some change, and we're down 27. I said, I'm confident. We're at least going to get a field goal. I'm confident in that. He drove us down. He hits Jalen Coker for what should have been or what could have been the game-winning touchdown. Could have been the game-winning touchdown. But if you know Matthew Stafford and the receiving core that he has, I think everybody in Bank of America Stadium, when we saw it's over 2 minutes left on this clock, the Rams have all 3 timeouts. And they have the 2-minute warning. So they had essentially 4 timeouts. I think none of us were comfortable. None of us, we were excited because we were winning. We were up 31-27. We're winning. And it's less than 3 minutes. But I don't think anybody was in the stadium saying, that's it, we got him. And no, not with Matthew Stafford behind center. No. And then we saw the coverage. And this has been the topic of conversation for a lot of people. The defense that we played against Matthew Stafford. I don't know if it was a prevent defense. I do know this. The corners, the secondary, they were off the receivers 8-9 yards. With 2.5 minutes left and 3 timeouts, you got to play regular defense. Now, we'll say this in defense of the call. J.C. Horn was out of the game. I think he was injured, banged up, whatever it was. J.C. Horn was out. So I don't know if that affected Coach Avero's. I'm sure it affected his call. And maybe he felt like he couldn't man up with his number 1 corner on the sideline. I don't know. But I will say this. It looked like the Panthers were playing not to lose. In other words, it looked like we had the lead, 2.5 minutes left, and almost like the thinking was, can we hang on? Maybe time will run out. Oh my goodness, let's keep everything in front, and when they catch it, just come up and tackle. Because the good thing was we were up 4, so a field goal does the Rams no good. So I think that also played into the defensive play calling. Okay, they got to score a touchdown. So we can play a little conservative, safe. Let's be very, let's not be too aggressive. Don't be too aggressive. And I think what that is number 1, J.C. Horn was out the game. I think that clearly affected it. Number 2, the Rams needed a touchdown and not a field goal. I think that affected the call. But number 3, I think not having a winning mentality, and that's not a knock on Coach Avero or any of the staff. I just think the Panthers haven't been here before. And you're actually in a position where, we can win a playoff game. A lot of people feel like we shouldn't even be here. We can win a playoff game and knock off the number 1 offense in the NFL. And I don't think they knew how to handle that. A team that has been there and done it before, they play that whole situation differently. How do they play it, Coach Jerry? they're going to be more aggressive. You're going to see some blitzes. You're going to see more man coverage, and you're going to see corners playing maybe 3-4 yards off the receiver, because in their mindset, they're used to winning. So now that they have you down late in the game, their mindset is put them away. Put them away. The Panthers' mindset looked to be, we got a chance to win. Let's not mess it up. Let's not take any risk. Let's not be aggressive at all. We have a chance to win. Oh my goodness, let's not mess this up. And I can understand that. If you've never had it before, if you've never done that, I get it. I get it. I don't think it was the right call, but I understand why they played it that way. I completely get it. Because you got a chance to pull off this major upset. You don't want to mess that up. If Coach Evero, especially without J.C. Horn being on the field, if he would have called man coverage, regular man, hey, we're going to play 3-4 yards off the receiver, maybe 5, man up, and they got beat, because you got to understand now, you're going against arguably the best passer in football, and he has 2 stud receivers in Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. You can get beat. Now, if he would have played man coverage and Devontae Adams beat somebody deep, or Puka Nacua beat somebody, then everybody would have said, why would you play man and your best corner's on the sideline? Why would you do that? I could see initially starting in zone, not a zone where they're 9 or 10 yards off. I think that's way too conservative. You're playing it way too safe. But as they start to march down the field, and see, that's the thing about a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. He's not going to be greedy. Matthew Stafford's not going to be greedy. You want to sit back in the zone? He is mature enough and good enough to, okay, I'm going to just take what you give me. 7-8 yard passes all the way. We got all 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. I'll just take 7 to 8 yard passes all the way down the field. See, what you're banking on is that Stafford gets greedy or impatient and throws into coverage. He's not going to do that. And really, with 4 timeouts, there's no need for him to do that. So Stafford said, I'm going to take what you give me. Dink, dink, dink. We're going to march all the way down the field. Dink, dink. And even the game-winning touchdown. It's a 19-yard pass. It wasn't like he was looking to throw a 40 or 50-yard bomb. Matthew said, no, I'm just dink, dink, dink. Y'all want to sit back in that zone coverage? Okay, we'll just boop, 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 boop. So I think at some point, you got to come at it and say, hey, okay, they're getting down the field too quickly, too easily. Let's man up. And yes, I know you may get beat in man coverage. You got to man up. You got to man up. You got to take the chance. You have to, because he's picking you apart in the zone. You got to switch it up at some point. But I understand as a young coach, Coach Evero, now you got to remember now, his first defensive coordinator job wasn't until 2022. So he hasn't been doing this 8, 9, 10 years. He's a young defensive coordinator. So he's still learning. As Coach Canales is still learning, second-year head coach. As Bryce Young and the whole wide receiving corps, they're all young. All those guys are young. So they're learning. I think if J.C. Horn is in the game, he may play it differently. I think let's just fast forward to next season. If they're in this position next season, I think Coach Evero plays it differently. I do. I think he plays the situation differently. So that's why I'm not upset about it. It's a young coaching staff. It's a young team. Look, y'all, they gave us a season we weren't supposed to have. We were not. No, we were not. No, we were not. Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and Todd Bowles and those guys, they were supposed to be division champs, not the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers from 2 wins to 5 wins to now 8. They weren't supposed to win the division. And even people that, let's say you predicted 8 wins. Nobody thought 8 wins would win the division. If you said, hey, my prediction for the Panthers, I predicted 8 wins. Yeah, but you didn't predict the division title with those 8 wins and a playoff appearance. You didn't predict that. So the fact, and then they compete in that playoff game. Like, this thing is coming down to the final minute. with less than, yeah, they gave us a good season. With less than 3 minutes left, they're up on the number one offense again. They already beat them once. Now they're showing again, we can beat you a second time. The Panthers got some decisions to make, though. They got decisions to make. Rico Dowdle only had 5 carries. Now, I want to look at something with the Panthers. Because why Rico Dowdle only had 5 carries yesterday, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know why his carries, it seemed like, started to decrease as the season went on. I'm looking at the last regular season game against Tampa. He had 7 carries. I don't know why his carries started decreasing towards the end of the season. And I saw something yesterday where I think Rico was saying something about he's going to think about free agency differently because he wants to be the number one back. He wants to get more carries. The Panthers running back room is crowded. Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, Trevor Etienne, and you still got Jonathan Brooks out of Texas who just didn't play this year because he's recovering from the ACL injury. Jonathan Brooks is back next year. You got 4 good running backs. I don't know what you do with them. I don't know what you do. Chuba's under contract. Trevor's under contract. Jonathan's under contract. If you re-sign Rico, wow. I mean, that's why Trevor Etienne is returning kicks, and I don't think he's a kick returner at all. But I think they're just trying to get him involved because they spent a draft pick on him. And he is talented. Now, I don't think he's very good at returning kicks. I think that should be Jimmy Horn Jr.'s responsibility. But I see what they're trying to do. They're just trying to get him involved. And so, okay, go ahead and return kickoffs and punts, which I don't think he should be doing that at all. But how do you get Etienne involved as a running back? And if Rico Dowdle, if his carries were starting to decrease towards the end of the season, what happens when Jonathan Brooks is healthy next year? Now, gosh, that's 4 good backs. I don't know what you do with all that. I don't know what you do. They got some decisions to make. I would like to see another good wide receiver. I'm not Xavier Legette. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Bryson Tremaine. I think Bryson Tremaine could be solid. I don't know how much of an opportunity he was given. Jimmy Horn Jr., I don't know if they're ever going to use him. I would like to see another solid wide receiver to go with T-Mac and Coker. I would like to see another one. I would. And then obviously, defensively, you want to add some more to the defense. I'd like to see another offensive lineman too. I want to see another offensive lineman thrown in. Somebody that can move somebody. Because that running game towards the end of the season, I don't know what happened to the running game. It was done. And you can't say it was because Robert Hunt got hurt, because when Rico Dowdle had those big games, Robert Hunt was out. So that wasn't it. But something with the running game, somebody's not moving somebody. Who is it? Damian Lewis? Is it Ike Ekwonu? Something? Taylor Moton? Somebody ain't Cade Mays. Somebody's not moving somebody. I need to see some linemen. Come on, give me a lineman. I tell you what, give me a lineman here that can block somebody. Since y'all don't want to move nobody. We can't run the ball, give me somebody else here that can block. Give me somebody else. The schedule gets a little tougher next year. We're gonna keep talking about the Panthers. Schedule gets a little tougher next year. But all in all, y'all, it was a good season. Charlotte Hornets, you're on the clock. Now the Hornets had a very big win. Yes, they did. The Hornets they punished Utah. Punished them 150-95. My goodness. And I don't know what happened in the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, the Hornets were up 45-14. Gosh. Everybody played. Everybody scored. Miles Bridges had 15. Moussa Diabate had 10. Everybody's got double figures. Brandon Miller with 18. LaMelo Ball 17. Con Knipple 12. Who else had double figures? Ryan Kalkbrenner was back, 12. Colin Sexton, 15. Josh Green, 13. Trey Mann had 20 points in 12 minutes. Knocked down 4. Everybody was balling. I saw a stat that I want to read to you about the Charlotte Hornets with their starting 5. I saw this. This is very, very interesting. It says, let me find it. When the Charlotte Hornets start LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Con Knipple, and Miles Bridges and Moussa Diabate, they have the highest net in the NBA. Let me say that to you again. The highest, this is from The Lead on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. The Lead, highest net rating among 5-man lineups this season with a minimum of 70 minutes played together. Number 1, and it's not even close. LaMelo Ball, Con Knipple, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Moussa Diabate, Charlotte Hornets at 41.4. 41.4 net rating. Highest in the NBA. The second highest is 28.5. It's not even close. Who's the second highest, Coach Cherry? SGA, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, J-Dub, and Chet Holmgren. Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren. They have a higher net rating than OKC, and it's not even close. Now, the standings don't reflect that. Obviously, the Hornets aren't doing much as far as they only have 14 wins. And when you look at them in the standings, they're not even in the play-in right now. The Hornets are 12th. They're behind Milwaukee. And the Hornets are about 5 games out of the play-in spot, 10th spot. But we know that 5 isn't on the floor a lot, health-wise. So I understand why, as the front office, you have a tough decision to make. Because it shows so much promise, that talent. LaMelo, one of the most talented, Brandon Miller, and all these guys are young. You got a young LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Con Knipple, Miles Bridges. None of these guys are in their 30s. Moussa Diabate. They're all young. But they're just not on the floor together a lot. But when they are on the floor, they have the highest net rating. I didn't say in their division. I didn't say in their conference. In the entire NBA. So I understand the dilemma that the front office may be in when they're thinking, should we tear this down and start over? Should we trade somebody to try to get another player or two, some more assets, maybe draft picks? What do we do with this situation? I understand the dilemma because it's like when you see them play together, it's like, yo, we got something here. So do we tear it down or do we keep it? I don't know. Gosh, that's a tough decision because they're 14-25. They've played almost 40 games. 39, they've played almost 40 games. You're almost at the halfway point of the season, and you only have 14 wins. Man, that's not good. Golly, that's not good. You're 7-12 at home. You're not even playing well at home. Man, this team right here, boy, I tell you what, this Hornets team, I'm talking about, boy, they can be frustrating. Woo! You talking about the Charlotte Hornets? Now, Hornets, I'm going to say this. The Panthers generated a lot of hype this year. Where is your hype? There's a lot of flatness out there. It's a lot of flatness. Where is your hype? You're on the clock. Now, we're tired of seeing silly stuff. Come on, where's your hype? Win some games. See, that puts some pressure on the Hornets. When you see what the Panthers have done with a young quarterback, with a young head coach, with some young wide receivers. Hornets, hey, what we got? What were you? Do something. No, you don't have to win a championship. You don't have to be a top 3 seed in the East. Do something. Charlotte fans now have gotten a taste of being relevant. Charlotte Hornets, you're on the clock. Because the Charlotte fan base now, they've gotten that little, oh, this is what it feels like to actually be relevant. The Panthers have had us in the national media, and the Panthers beat the Green Bay Packers this year in Lambeau, and they beat the Rams this year, and they swept Atlanta, and the Panthers gave us a home playoff game, and the Bank of America Stadium was rocking, and okay, now the Panthers season is over, and all of our attention shifts to the Hornets. What you got? What you got for us? Not that flat, silly stuff. What do you have for us? Can you imagine leaving Bank of America Stadium after that atmosphere and then going to the Spectrum Center for some flat stuff? I don't want it. Not that. That's nasty. Boy, that's very nasty. Flatness, I don't want that. We'll see what the Hornets do this year. We'll see what they do. Just like the Panthers. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you had to make a comparison, Panthers talent versus Hornets talent, I know it's two different sports, but the Hornets talent relative to NBA talent and the Panthers talent relative to other NFL teams, the Hornets have more talent. I just said they have the highest net rating in the NBA with that 5 in the NBA. The Panthers don't have that, and they still made it work. The Panthers need to add some more pieces, and they still made it work. Charlotte Hornets, you're on the clock. What do you have for us? Hey, I'm a Hornets fan too now. The same way I champion the Panthers, I'm a Hornets fan too. Hornets, what do you have for us? We're going to tune in and find out. Now, we've already been watching. We've already been but now all the attention, or the majority of the attention, shifts to the Charlotte Hornets. Let's see what they got. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Coach Cherry Show. If you are listening on audio, Apple Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Patreon. If you're listening to the audio, check out the YouTube channel at the Coach Cherry Show. Hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, signing off, Coach Cherry. God bless you.
Came a long way from minimum wage. Started flipping burgers at minimum age. I was young. I ain't make a lot, but at least I was paid. Helped my confidence. Regular haircuts turned into fade.